Hello, Aquarius. This is your timeless love variant reading where, keep in mind, anything can come across throughout the reading, whether you are single, partnered up, polyamorous, married, divorced, divine, karmic, whatever wants to come up will be spoken about. Bear in mind, that these messages may resonate more with you if Aquarius is found in your sun, rising, and or Jupiter position for Sekhmet energy. However, if you're here for, let's say, your moon, Venus, and maybe even your Mercury or others being in the sign of Aquarius, you may be looking for or in search of emotional redemption without really knowing it. So this reading may not be exactly targeting what it is that you may be after. For that, check out my sister channel. The link can be found in the description box below to see whether or not the content that is made available over there can help you out in another form besides having to maybe contact me directly, which can be also found in the description box below. Sorry, it's always really hard for me to kind of like pay attention to all the narratives that want to try to come in while I'm trying to take the position of giving you my intro, so I get distracted really easily. So understand that it doesn't mean that nothing within this reading isn't for you. Just use your discernment to take all of that which is yours and to leave the rest behind as you slowly leave the reading behind as well. All right, Aquarius. I'm picking up nervous energy. Someone who wants to stay hidden. Someone who wants to be discovered. Like it's a secret maybe that this person really wants to be discovered. You know, they want to be like the next model, walk down the street and be selected. And just like, yeah, I want to be in the spotlight. Which is good. It's actually a milestone because although you may have a lot of positions in your life right now where you're already the spotlight, those are different positions for you to be in that just happen to have you be in the spotlight. But then there's like a little niche within you that is really, really wishing it was in a certain category in the spotlight and it hasn't had a chance to. And now I feel like it's getting closer and closer in your grabs of becoming some sort of reality outside of your imagination. So that shows that you've put in a lot of work in addressing shadow versions, shadow aspects of yourself, and taking ownership and making them become an identifying factor with you instead of being a part of you, embodying them, learning how to discipline those emotions, and just becoming your own parent. Alright. I'm hearing chaos on Elm Street. It might be very specific. It could be the name of the street that you're on, some paranormal activity, whatever that may mean. The pilgrim, opportunities and growth. So either wants to really pay attention to something. What that is, it's up for you to find that compelling source within your gut to really pull you in to that misunderstanding so that you can bring understanding to it, okay? We have the storyteller, viewpoints, control, and we have the cartographer, a crossroads, exploration. Okay. I'm seeing that Ether wants you to have a better outlook or onlook. Let's put it that way. Onlook on your life, because in business you're really good at maybe advocating others, being a life coach, human resources, some sort of advocacy for emotional development or cognitive behavior of some kind. But then when it comes to your personal niches, again, that continued narrative that Aquarius seem to struggle with in quote-unquote secret in the shadows here is not feeling satisfied with the personal life. And so Ether wants you to have an overview, an overhead view of your own life, and try to imagine you having an overview of your life. Like you are in the hourglass and you're the one outside of the hourglass looking into it and seeing your life take shape. Oh, and a snow globe. Snow globe. Like a globe, not an hourglass. There's a lot of drama coming from your ego self, okay? You're having a very hard time accepting the so-called spiritual journey, accepting an emotional journey, and compartmentalizing your livelihood for your physical journey. It's difficult because, well, maybe you're distracted with so many relationships, so many responsibilities, where if you don't meet up to them, you don't feel like you're growing, you don't feel like you're participating, you don't feel like you have a say-so in society or even matter in a workplace or in a work environment, okay? It's very important for you to be engaged in one way or another because you want to have control, but with this type of narrative, it's saying that your viewpoints are misguided because you're continuously getting to crossroads, and these crossroads are not actually allowing you to explore, because when you meet those crossroads, you are allowing the fear of having to choose a quote-unquote right direction in order for the exploration to begin. Instead of just accepting that any crossroad is an exploration, just go with a whimsical niche of where you feel like gravitating towards first, and allowing that to be a natural course of action. See this nautical compass here, kind of like spinning out of control. And you need to like stabilize it with understanding your true due north energy. And it has nothing to do with North Node in the astrological chart, or even the North Star. But it would have something to do with the pyramids and how they align with as above and as so below, and integrating yourself within that existence. Okay. Love is profound for someone. Love is almost too good to be true. There's a lot of romance, a lot of beauty to be found in a relationship at this point for an Aquarian. You might be in a development of a twin flame dynamic where it took you a long time to get to the position where you are now, and you haven't given up the fight because it's impossible for you to do so, but you're seeing the fight take shape in a different form, and it's more nourishing, it's more it's eco-friendly, I'm hearing. All right, it's eco-friendly for everything that you believe in, everything that you want to nurture, everything that you want to give back, and the child innocence that you want to bring to understanding that you are here to learn and grow through also the engagements of other people. You're saying that someone owes someone an apology. I feel that's more like you, Aquarian, need the apology. That. I feel in one way or another you will receive the apology, and it's not about awaiting it to meet the expectations of what you think the definition of an apology is, but more so the continuance of time and other things coming into fruition, believing in a narrative that is maybe different and foreign for you, but offers a lot more enriching opportunities, a lot more willpower, a lot more zest for life, and nourishing those thoughts and allowing them to take shape. It's a lot of progression if you're a returning listener to this channel for you. You've made milestones into addressing some parts of your shadow self, which is beautiful. Look at that. With the Five of Cups is addressing that energy, and you brought death upon things that no longer are serving you. So whether or not you really believe it to be true that you can stand in the power of conviction is not necessarily important, besides letting you know it's over and done with. It's already been taken care of. The things that are connected through you and beyond you have dealt with the war. Allow it to kind of seep away in your existence of timeline. And the only way that you can really allow this this truth to permeate into honesty is to continue being honest and to continue being a seeker of truth, because the seeker of truth negates the things that are impossible. And with that, you kind of filter out those relationships and responsibilities and accountabilities that you can show up to, you will make time for, and also learn how to consent and say you're not available for other things. You're not always accessible and easily attainable. You have your own things to worry about before you gratify others, and that's really important for you, Aquarius, to learn that about what it means for you to embody Aquarian energy. Something is very long overdue. Long overdue. Hierophant, yeah. What's long overdue is for you to ascend into a different opportunity that's much more enjoyable for you. For no one in this reading does that mean you are allowing old patterns to come and take shape into something that you say moving forward you honor with unconditional love, because it won't have room in your existence to accept. Anything that goes against those pure form of thought will be permeated away from you like a repellent, and they will attack the individuals that they come from. And if they feel that they're in your vicinity to retort back and bite back, they will, but you will be so astute in what you believe in with the Hierophant energy that you don't have to really say much to kind of address the issues for the individual that's quote-unquote attacking you, and basically tell them to simmer down, or no negative energy my way, or you can't really persuade me otherwise. You won't change my opinion. I affirm my feelings, my belief, my honor, and your stance, your astute knowing of self will kind of push you through any individuals that are possibly toxic in your environment, especially in the work zone, because in a work zone is where you flourish before you flourish a lot at home. And let's say you work from home, you're doing a better job at balancing the two varying degrees of knowing what is work responsibility from home and what is still unconditional love responsibility from home, and having them not penalize the wrong subject matters. Who's occupying the same space as you? Some of you have split ways a long time ago with someone, and are returning back to this individual, and this individual is your divine counterpart. All right. But what will bring you two together here in this beautiful linear form is having to separate first. Whether you've already been separate and now you're trying to figure out why the separation took place and why it's reintroducing itself, or why you are at a current separation, but this is not about somebody who's been married and separated. No, that person is not your divine counterpart. This is an isolated growth, as it always should be. An isolated growth, especially in a twin flame dynamic, means the more that you focus on yourself, the more you fall away from having to try to make a destiny fit that is negated with fantasy or imagination. Allow the imagination and fantasy to fulfill your actions and deeds. And then with that, the doing and the becoming will allow the life to nourish itself and life to nourish itself and also replenish itself in things that it either needs more of or needs less of, and things come from that. Okay, a whole garden can manifest from that, and you're in that position to really fertilize the grounds of who you are and what you're made out of, and anything that kind of comes at this current energy cycle is almost like everlasting. And I say almost because it requires your awareness of something for it to be everlasting. Like, if you don't see it in your vicinity, then you will never see it. So you first have to be made seen of it for you to realize, oh, it's out there. Okay, it will make sense to someone. Strong major arcana energy here with all major arcanas here, and then the 5 of Cups, the only minor element where it's a lot of suffering. Okay, you're maybe here because you feel like you don't know the answer, or you're not good enough, or you can't trust relationships, or you don't even know if you can trust yourself within a relationship that you're in. There's a lot of fear permeating through that brings you here. And what has kept you here, besides after hearing the word emotional redemption, is the fact that you could be triggered into maybe thinking that you don't really have to battle out this war, let alone be anchored in feeling the heavy weight of what you know is at least not positive. It's that directly opposite of positive, because it's 5 of Cups energy. It feels divided, it feels gaslit, it feels left out, it feels like a victim. But then there's certain elements to where you are fragmented, and maybe even the depressive episodes where when you slowly get out of one, you realize there are things around you that want to define their presence so loud that you can get out of the rut that you're in. And then when you do that, you're out of that depressive episode, and you become aware of something until maybe, unfortunately, energy kind of dissipates itself again, and then you're back into some sort of warping loophole of the 5 of Cups energy. And it's because there's a lot of weight that you put on yourself as a human, and it's inevitable because you're human. And to experience these sensations and have them be part of us is a lot to process. Hence why there's other reasons why there's some that seek tarot for other narratives. But whatever it is, some narrative will always be fulfilled. Whether it's the narrative for you, that's also the conquest of being cautious or conscientious when reading and listening to several collective energies. Alright, so let's see if this reading wants to get a little bit more personal. It doesn't really want to. It's saying that there's so many emotions within this vessel of what it is that you feel to make sense of at this time. You need to allow them all to you need to bring some sort of energy to them so that you can kind of like prick open those wounds and allow the sediments to flow out. Doing so will reawaken you, replenish you, because it's not about seeing the pain, but more so realizing the feelings of all the relationships that you're in, and what brings you here into listening to this, or listening to something like this, and maybe feeling moved by these energies, and feeling the shift happen, whether it's with your energetical within chi or raw energy, or your conscious shift or a time lapse, whatever it is, there's an awareness shifting within you. Even if it's also guilt. But something is breaking apart because it's being pricked and kind of being now released, as if it then now rewarded itself into being, instead of a snow globe, the hourglass analogy. Turning things upside down and realizing you do have the control of time. As things break with the moon energy, things come to surface as much as possible. All right. That's the job of the sun, to allow the emotions to come and abrupt themselves up to the surface. And some of you have already done this work, so this is not about it really being all up in your face, because it's already all up in your emotions and all up in your physical discomforts, because this is a very uncomfortable energy, the moon energy. It doesn't know what to do besides be strong in what it doesn't know. Okay? And in it, there's a lot of things that could come out of that is just as fruitful and has an ecosystem that can be very thriving, even if it's just kept in the dark. So to think of that is to think of like the fascination of mycelium, the fascination of fungi in general, when the fascination of moss, the fascination of swamps and algae, all right, and the lotus flower, things coming for what was perceived, quote unquote, ugly. Beautiful things can come from that. It's a long journey ahead, but not as long as you think. Okay, the concept of time is irrelevant. It's a long journey due to maybe different subjects that need to be covered, but let's say you cover those subjects in a session of meditation, that subject is irrelevant. That time and space is irrelevant to that, of how long that journey is. Someone around you is like maybe jealous of your meditative skills, wanting to meditate, being adept to nature, constantly seeking nature to understand your emotions and releasing unsaid desires. Yeah, someone's jealous. Seven of Swords energy, I can't stand that card. Yeah. There's a dark secret, Eight of Swords energy over here with the Seven of Swords. So yeah, someone's jealous around you because they feel like they want some of whatever it is that you got. You're beautiful, you're eccentric, you're eclectic, you're in the spotlight in more ways than you give yourself even credit to. And the fear that you have is because there's negative energy trying to make you aware that there's deceptive energy around you, making you drift away from your cause. Yeah. That. This person is not to be trusted because this person doesn't have a fair this person just isn't fair when it comes to matters of the heart. The question for some is like, which one is this? Is this the energy where someone divine is coming in? No, this is addressing former patterns, because it's trying to let you know that whatever, again, brings you here, there's something attached to a version of some sort of negative awareness made aware by you, but you just can't see the specific detail to what it is. So you're constantly being almost like blindsided that it's somebody else, maybe blaming somebody else as to why you're even sitting here, and not really realizing those are old patterns showing up. But you're outdated. You're really past that assignment. It's just that your fourth dimensional ego is still struggling and letting go of certain third dimensional things. So that's going to be a wishy-washy, difficult arguments perhaps to get through. Swampage, meaning people are being pulling you into, hey, can you help me out over here? I need you over here, and you can't go. You can't. You just won't have time. And it's to trigger you to accept major changes to come. It's triggering you that things are coming, because what once you didn't see, and because you were induced with so much emotions, it reignites you with a sense of purpose. And the sunflower here showing that the ground of which you brought fertilization to has a chance now to grow and become something, because you're now becoming more adept at handling, maybe, let's say, the energy difference of when it's your time to understand the assignment or when it's your time to design the assignment. The devil. Like I said, the ego war, right? It's that ego fourth dimensional thing of like not showing if you're operating of light within darkness or if you're operating of darkness within light, and knowing like the difference. And so if you don't understand this energy, you don't understand why maybe you're attracting, in your world, negative energy, negative people, toxic, betrayal, not lasting friendships, relationships, family trauma, drama. Like, there are things that are not understood, but there again, it is understood. It's like a huge contradiction here, because it still works. There's a beauty, again, found in the contradictory behaviors of Earth, right? And the magic that happens. In the most darkness of Shen, crystals can form. And we use them to understand frequency. Whether or not we label it as healing ourselves or not, it becomes subjective. Knight of Pentacles, Strength card. So again, where we feel grounded before with Earth energy, and that you're taking the fertilization of what you own, who you are, what you're no longer handling, you know, all that is strengthening you. It's quite literal here. All right, it's allowing you to bestow the air magic of which it is that you are, even if you're emotive with the Queen of Cups energy, whether or not you have a lot of pain, a lot of trauma, and are just weighted down and feel like anchored in some way, you're going to get out of it. But you have to recognize those moments offered opportunities when they will make sense to you. And there, unfortunately, are too many narratives within this calendar to understand when exactly that's going to happen, because it's up to you to make that happen. So in comes the light of reason, the light of opportunity. It says that it brings you the motivation to use what in essence you've always known, and showing up even more so. Okay? And when energy is coming in from the east that you just don't fucking like, you will punch the energy right back and say, get the fuck out of here. All right? In small ways that it matters for you to learn that you can do that, and it still be a delicate, nice thing. Loss doesn't indicate suffering. Yeah, you really needed to hear that one. Humble light by teaching its shadow, and a walk into nature. Yep. There we go, Aquarius. That is all that we have for you today. I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space. If you like any of my services, go check them out in the description box below. And may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take care.